welcome to another video here on the Unchained CEO channel where we talk about personal development and business. Today, talking all about books. So if you want to find out some tips that I use to read more books, retain the information, and to also have some tools that I use, make sure you stay till the end of this video. So welcome if you're new to the channel. My name is Sarah, and today we are talking about books and how to read more of them. I think I'm a lifelong learner. I don't know about you, but if you're watching this video, I'm assuming that you love to learn and you love to read, or maybe you're a student and you have a lot of books to read and you just need to get through them. Who knows? But whatever it is, I got some great tips for you and some bonus tips and tools that I use to make reading books easier and faster. My first tip is read multiple books at a time. I know this might sound weird because maybe for some of you you're thinking, I would prefer to read one book all the way through, and then when I'm finished with that book, go into another book. But if you're like me and you read a lot of personal development or business types books, or books that are really dense, really heavy when it comes to the content, I'm telling you, reading multiple books will save you. I am constantly reading like 3, 4, 5 books at a time sometimes, and I find that I'll be reading one book, and as the information starts to get really heavy for me and I find myself tuning out, I stop reading it for a little bit and I'll switch to maybe something a little bit lighter or just a different book altogether, just to kind of break up the same content that I'm reading over and over again. Don't be afraid to try reading multiple books at a time. And this leads me into tip number 2. Like, remember that you can read a book, and if you're not feeling the book anymore, you don't like it, you're not enjoying the content, you don't have to finish it. So tip number 2 would be read the books you enjoy reading. Now, if you're in school, this might be a little hard. There's going to be certain books that you have to read that you probably don't like. So this is different for you. You're going to have to bear through it. But for those of you who are reading books just for the purpose of learning, leisurely learning, lifelong learning, or you just want to read more books, if you pick up a book and you're really not liking it, you don't have to finish it. I don't care if the whole world thinks that this book is the best thing since sliced bread. You don't have to read it. You don't have to finish it. So don't be afraid to put those books aside and pick up a book that you're actually interested in and that you enjoy reading. Tip number 3, create a system of reading. Now, my system is a little less structured. The way I go about it is, well, before all of this self-isolation was going on, I would promise myself that either on my way to work during my commute or on my way back, because I listen to a lot of audiobooks, I would make sure that one of my commutes back or forth, I was listening to a book versus listening to music all the time. So that way I was able to get in more information and at least keep up and keep on track in terms of my goals for reading more throughout the year. So that's what I do. But if you want more structure, one of the things you could do is just tell yourself that every single day for 20 minutes, maybe the first thing as you wake up, or maybe the last thing you do before you go to sleep, because that helps you wind down too, just take those 20 minutes and read something. If you need even more structure, you could say, okay, not 20 minutes, I'm gonna read 20 pages of a book every single day. And I guarantee you that if you keep this up over time, it'll become just like second nature, just like all your other habits, and it won't even feel like something that you have to remind yourself to do. It'll just naturally happen because it's become part of your routine. So try that if you wanna get more books in, just create a system. And tip number 4 is mix up the way you're reading. Mix it up. You don't have to necessarily read physical books. Now, if you're a diehard physical book reader, continue reading physical books. But there's so many different formats. You can read physical, digital books like on a Kindle or something, and you can also do audiobooks, which right now for the last few years has been my #1 way of consuming books. Because before, I don't know if you're anything like me, you have your book and you bring it around with you everywhere, but it limits how many books you can read, and it also limits you on the size of the book you can carry around with you, because I don't like carrying around heavy books. but sometimes it's harder when you're out and about to actually get the time to take your book out and read it. Audiobooks are a godsend. You can get through so many audiobooks because you don't have to physically be going through the pages and reading. You can just listen to them in the pockets of your time. So mix up the formats. Try some digital, try some audible books, and try some physical books, and I promise you, you will definitely read more books that way. And now I'm going to give you some of the bonus tips. Here are a few things that'll help you along this journey of reading more. I recently downloaded an app called Goodreads, and it helps you to track how many books you're reading. You can actually set goals as to how many books for the year you want to read. You can set what kind of genres you prefer inside of the app, and it'll give you suggestions for books. You can read them through there, you can share it with your friends, or you could just use the app to keep track. It's the first time that I'm going to be using it, so I'll tell you how my progress goes, but it's a great way if you're one of those people that likes to habit track. That'll help you to keep you on track with that too. Another really important way, you gotta eliminate distractions. So when I'm reading, luckily a lot of times when I'm listening to audiobooks, it's either on the subway, which is underground, so I don't have to worry about notifications popping up on my phone, or right before I'm about to go to bed or something like that. One of the distractions that I know is really hard if you're especially reading a physical book or even a digital book is constantly getting notifications on your cell phone. So just put it on Do Not Disturb. If you've chosen to do that structured way of creating a system where you're dedicating 20 minutes or 20 pages, put your phone on Do Not Disturb and don't take it off until you've read those 20 pages or that 20 minutes. It'll really help, because if your phone is constantly going off, you're not going to get through all the books. And then another great tip too is switch up the locale. Now I know right now we're all in self-isolation, so this is a little harder, but within your home you can switch it up too. If you're typically reading in bed, you can read in the kitchen, you can read in the living room, shoot, read in the bathroom if you want to. But when this is all over, I love reading and just chilling out at coffee shops. Sometimes I will take my audiobooks, because they come with me of course, and I'll go to a coffee shop and I'll just relax. I'll get a coffee and I'll just sit in one of their comfy chairs and I'll just listen to something or read. I like to do it at the library as well. It's quiet, it forces me to focus on whatever it is I'm reading. So choose locales that you like. Maybe you can go out into a park and just sit on a bench and read, or maybe lay a blanket and on a nicer day. I'm in Canada, so it's got to be nice out to do them things. Whatever you choose, switch it up. It doesn't always have to be the same place, the same way all the time. This will make reading more enjoyable, and it'll be a part of your self-care. Sometimes I know we have a hard time reading a lot of books and retaining the information. So one of the ways to do this is to take notes. Don't be afraid to mark up your books. Don't be afraid to write on the side, highlight. I do this all the time with my books. Don't be afraid to do that. It's your book. Do whatever you want. If you have the digital versions, you can do that too. The audiobooks, you can actually bookmark certain spots that you want to go back to and maybe review or whatever. So you can do that on all three formats. So don't be afraid to take notes. And then the second tip to that, which makes these things stick in your brain, is from those notes, make the conscious effort to take action on at least one thing you learned from that chapter or that section or that book, depending on how big the book is. This tip has been a game changer for me, especially because I read a lot of personal development and business books. So I make sure that I make my notes, I highlight or whatever, and as I go through the chapters, if there's anything that really, really stands out to me, I'm like, okay, Sarah, how can I start implementing this particular thing into my routine today or this week? This is how things stick. You read something, you put it into action. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope these tips really help you. Go ahead and comment below. What are your goals this year? How many books do you want to read this year? And are you gonna try any of these tips? Are you gonna download some of these apps? Audible is great, by the way. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and share this so other people can find it. And if you haven't subscribed yet, Go ahead and subscribe, hit the notification bell, put out videos every single week to help you grow and thrive and just live your best life. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.